Hello, and welcome back to the VET S.O.S podcast brought to you by the Who You Know Network. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline. We got another great show today. We got two guests on with us today to talk about a very interesting and unique organization that I had never heard of before and was very excited once I learned about it. I can't wait to get into this. As always, I'm here with my co-host, Eric. Eric, how are you doing today?
Brother, I'm pumped up, man. Listen, I don't get to say this often because I'm kind of one of those people, like I know a lot of these organizations. I've never heard of MedTechVets, and I'm excited to learn because I believe in learning things. I believe in figuring out new stuff. So I'm pumped up, brother.
Absolutely. It's always great when we come across a one, and I love the niche factor on this one. So we're going to get right into the introductions, and then we're going to start talking about this because I can't wait to delve more into it. So today we have Patrice Sutherland with us. She is the president and chairman of MedTechVets, enterprise executive director at Integra Life Sciences, and formerly a U.S. Army combat veteran. She received her bachelor's degree in chemistry and engineering from the United States Military Academy at West Point and her MBA from Rice Business, Jones Graduate School of Business at Rice University. We also have Amy Reiter with us, who is the director of operations at MedTechVets and has been with the organization for nearly 3 years. She is not a veteran herself, but is passionate about assisting veterans and has pursued careers that align with the military-driven missions for the past 10 years. She has 4 kids and is currently in school full-time for her bachelor's in nonprofit leadership. Apparently, you have a lot of time on your hands, Amy, with that many kids running around and going to school. Can't wait to hear how you balance that. But ladies, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you so much for having us. I'm really excited to share more about this too.
Yeah, doing great. I'm excited that you guys really don't know a lot about us because that gives us an opportunity to really shed some light. So it's great.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. So, and it's hard to believe that Eric's never heard of you. I mean, he's been doing this for quite a while. He's talked with tons of companies. So this is great that we get to shed light for everybody. So let's start with a little bit more about both of you. So Patrice, you're a veteran. Did you have a drive to get into veteran support space, or is this something that developed over time? How'd you wind up getting into this?
Yeah, absolutely. Throughout my career, I've had a drive to help veterans, kind of like any organization I've been at. Hiring diversity before it was cool. I'd look for veterans. I'd look for people who needed a hand up the ladder and give them opportunities when other people wouldn't. I love my brothers and sisters in arms, all of them. Even though I'm Army, I love all of
them. I love the subtle little jab.
Yeah.
Well, see, my husband's Navy, so we jab quite a bit. And one of my daughters is Coast Guard. So we have a pretty full household.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, my father's Navy.
Dinners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Navy's the best, I'm told.
Oh.
Amy, how about you? What really drew you to wanting to be in the veteran transition space or veteran support space?
So I definitely tried to join the military out of high school, but I was unable to due to some medical reasons, and it was something that I just couldn't let go. So I decided to network within the industry and started working with veteran mission-driven companies and kind of found myself here. So over the years, really just grew that network, grew people that I knew, and knew that this is something I always wanted to focus my passion in.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, and when Amy says she helps vets, let's be clear. I might have a title here, but her title's bigger. She's the one that does all the work. Her and Brianne do most of the work for MedTechVets and interact with veterans way more than I do. So thank you, Amy.
And I'll tell you, as a veteran, right? The three of us on this call are veterans. As a veteran, Amy, I will tell you, it is one thing for people to thank us for our service, but when we watch people like you who put your gratitude in action, put your money where your mouth is, and work for it, we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's definitely my purpose, my calling in life. So I'm very honored to do it.
That is awesome. So let's hear it. What is MedTechVets? Tell us what that's about. And I'll let either of you field that question.
I'll start. MedTechVets is a nonprofit organization started by a friend and classmate, Mike Minogue, and another West Point grad, Alex Gorsky, and founded really because they were both in the medtech space and saw a need, just like you guys do, to help transitioning veterans. And selfishly for both of them, they wanted veterans in their organizations. So win-win. And they've just done a great job building it. And in fact, over the last few years before I took over as chairman, Amy and Derek Herrera, one of our other board members, really built this platform out to make it more user-friendly for the veterans. So go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, so essentially piggybacking off of what Patrice said, our whole focus is helping military veterans, really meeting them where they're at within their transition. No one veteran is the same, and we recognize that. And we really tried to create a program that helps them in all the different areas they need. We're definitely medtech focused. So our whole goal is to help veterans find careers in medical technology. That encompasses med device, life sciences, pharmaceutical, but really advocating for them and turning their dreams into a reality. So making sure that they're not getting the short end of the stick, and companies are recognizing, the importance that they can bring to a workforce, and they're not discrediting anything they've done.
Fantastic. I absolutely love that, in the fact that it is so much of a niche market there. You have a focus, you are setting that focus, and I don't know how many people exist in that space, but so far you're the only one I know of. Not that I've done a lot of research to see how many others are, but it's just amazing that you guys are focusing on that, because it seems like there's always a need in medical. So
absolutely.
My follow-up question to that, though, is going to be, do they have to have the experience in the med tech fields before they come to you?
Absolutely not. No, most of them don't. This current cohort we have, the spring cohort, we have a lot of folks with, in fact, I think all of them have medical experience, but that's rare. Most of them have, typical military operations experience. And we help them see through interviewing, practice, and guest speakers we have on that they really have been selling their whole careers. They just don't know it. So we kind of help them use the verbiage that speaks to the people that they're going to be interviewing with.
I love that. You both mentioned kind of meeting your veteran, right? Meeting that person for the cohort where they're at. And I think that's really important, right? Because we all are at different stages of life, we're at different stages of our career. Our families look different, our hopes and dreams, our aspirations, our ideas of success, that all looks different, right? So if I'm a 25-year knuckle-dragging, barrel-chested grunt coming out of 25 years in the Army, right? Go Army, beat Navy. We'll eat goat for dinner. If I'm that guy, right, that's coming to you, coming to MedTechVets, what's the process, right? What does that look like for me to come on board, for me to learn more about what I want to do? I want to get into medtech sales. I want to get into medtech something. How do you do that? What's that process look like?
So onboarding is super easy. They essentially just go to our website, fill out an application. Once they do that, it pings our team on the back end, and my colleague Brianne sets up a quick, 15-minute meeting with them. Really just outlines what our program does and makes sure that that's something that they're interested in, finds out more about their background. And after that, they fill out a 3-question personality survey, which we use when we pair them with an industry mentor. And they're placed into the cohort of their choosing. So we really try not to turn anyone away that wants to get into this space, because we want to be a program to help as many different veterans as possible. So we'll work with them to find them a mentor that meets not only their needs that they want to going into the industry, but personality-wise. And then we'll work with them as to where they want to go within the industry, and really discovering their purpose and narrative for entering medtech. They have a lot in common, but a lot of it really is purpose-driven, service-oriented, serving people's lives, and that's what the military was about too.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of along the lines, if you didn't know, Eric works for ACP, helping people with mentors and what have you, and that's, I know personally, I love my mentor, and I've heard so many success stories from people who've used ACP, so matching them up correctly just makes a world of difference. And the fact that you all do that really is powerful. I really like to hear that.
Well, there's no such thing as just having one mentor, right? There's such a great alignment. And I think that's one thing that I just continue to love, Shawn, as we go through the show. We meet these great organizations. I love to see how the us of it all, right? Our community of it all stands shoulder to shoulder to welcome transitioning service members, to help veterans who are looking for a career shift, to work with mill spouses as they're trying to reinvent themselves or start over or find something new. I love seeing our organizations who stand shoulder to shoulder, who are willing to stand in the fight and stand in the gap and just be there for folks. Because Patricia, you said it, like we don't need a handout, right? We just want a hand up. We just want somebody to say, hey, let me show you the way. Let me ground guide you. Yeah.
Give me a shot.
Yep.
And it's hard when you're coming out, as you know, from the military, the transition, there's so many factors that are involved. And having this so focused on, okay, we're going to help you get into the career you want. And as Amy said, find your purpose in your civilian life. That's the thing that speaks to me, makes my heart sing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Amy, I got a question for you. As the director of operations, what are the outcomes of this program? What is the aim of what you're trying to accomplish with each cohort and each member that comes through the cohort?
Honestly, it's just that they find their passion and job. So we've had a really great success rate so far. Our academy programming was implemented in fall of 2020 when COVID hit and we were kind of faced with turning virtual. So since then, we've had a 91% employment rate post-graduation of our academy, which is really amazing to see. And I would love to get that to, 100%, where every veteran that's going through is finding a job, whether it be with any of our partner companies or, even if they aren't for them, out there in the medical technology world, so they can find a purposeful employment and they want to go to work every morning.
That is absolutely awesome. And when MedTechVets first launch? When did you first start your?
So the organization itself was founded in 2014.
Okay.
It was previously known as MVP Vets and had a more regional focus. So there's a lot of different networking events, talking with different companies, normally out of the San Diego region. But when COVID hit, you couldn't do that anymore. And we really wanted to expand to a nationwide program anyways. So it was just kind of the perfect time to redo all the processes and come up with a new type of program that could encompass everyone.
So you guys actually grew because of COVID.
Yeah.
Which is, that's amazing.
And that's such a reoccurring theme. And again, I love this phrase, right? Our community. That's such a reoccurring theme in our community. When we look at what happened in COVID, when we look at the veteran community, when we look at veteran support, when we look at what happened as people went to transition out of the military and were left with a lack of support because of COVID, because of what it did to our TAP system and all that other stuff, we saw the community grow. We took a punch and we punched back.
Yep.
Right? And I think that's just such an amazing thing for me to watch. For our community, it's such a cool place for us to see growth in despite of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
So Patrice, what makes this nonprofit so unique? Is it
well, as you said earlier, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, is it the people, the mission, a combination of several things, the vision,
Yeah. Probably, definitely a combination of both, right? Or all three. What drew me to the organization was that it was so specific in an industry that's very homogenized. Typically in medical technology, people hire people who look like them or who have their backgrounds. Yeah. And when you say veteran, they're always, like Eric said, willing to say, or maybe it was you, Shawn, thank you for your service, right? But they don't really know how to help. And so an organization that's specifically focused on helping them understand that your background transitions into this field beautifully. And if you want a position in this field and you're willing to do the work, put the work in and prep yourself, then sky's the limit. There's no no's here. But if they were out trying to get into the medtech field on their own, it'd be very difficult to transition in.
It's a translation issue, right?
Yes.
Right? That's what it is. It's a translation issue. It's how do I take my military service for, in my case, 25 years or 4 years or 24 years, it doesn't matter. How do I take my military service and translate it into that elusive language of civilianese that a company in your industry would recognize my talent? Because I know what talent looks like, right? Talent for 25 years looked a specific way. Talent on the outside in the medtech world maybe doesn't look the same. It doesn't mean it's not talent. So how do I show them that what I bring is talent, right? It might not look like what they've known, but it is. So it's great. So you've got this great process of helping us navigate that process, right? Helping us navigate that transition, that translation. What's next? What's up and coming? What's big? What's coming down the pipeline? What can we expect?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Amy.
So we're definitely hoping to grow our program. Currently, we keep our cohorts small. Our staff is pretty small. It's just myself and Brienne. So we accept up to 17 veterans per cohort. But I hope with next year, we can break the 100 veteran threshold per year. And then once we do that, we're looking to expand our programming, possibly split between West Coast and East Coast, and then maybe even implementing something for military spouses as well. It's always been something I would love to do. So.
Got to drop that for the spouses.
Absolutely.
Every time we can offer that's huge. And it really seems like there's a huge push going on, even more now to add things for the spouse. I really love that. So, can you walk us through? What's the cohort do? Like, how's this whole process work? Once you got 17 in the cohort, what all are they going to be doing?
Yeah, so we pair them with 1 to 3 different industry mentors. I know, like Eric mentioned, there's no one mentor, so we really try to give them as many resources as possible. If they feel like they can take on 3 mentors, we absolutely give them that option. We ask that they meet once a week with their veterans throughout this 7-week process. And then they go through a series of virtual online sessions with us weekly. So we cover building your narrative. What does that look like? How does your purpose translate to the industry? How can you really connect to people on a personal level? What does medtech look like? Different companies within the realm, different roles that you might not have thought of translate really well to your background. Resume building. We do personalized resume assistance with lots of one-on-one meetings. So how do you effectively translate your resume? How do you create a template? And not only that, how do you edit a template for specific job roles? Because you're going to need to do that when you're applying in the medtech industry and really speak to that company's mission. We cover personal branding. So having an online presence, specifically in LinkedIn, networking. I don't think we can stress networking enough throughout the event. It's really about creating a robust network for you. So with that in mind, we try to introduce veterans to as many possible people as we can throughout this process, whether it be our instructors or resources, connections that we can make with them on the back end. And then we cover interviewing. So we'll do in-person, virtual, and recorded interviews, best practices, and then veterans get a chance to conduct 3 one-on-one mock interviews with some of our different volunteer mentors, which is really fun. And then the conclusion of the academy is a networking conference. So we host a networking conference for anyone, within industry or mentors, any of our partners, really anyone that just wants to network with veterans. And it's a 2-hour-long evening, veteran-led breakout rooms. So they just get to hear from medical technology professionals and create these connections. And it's had a really good turnout rate. Statistically, about 50% of our veterans find employment after this conference, which is amazing. So high-level Reader's Digest version, that's kind of what we do.
I love it. So to our listeners right now, right, in order to grow, because I firmly believe that organizations like yours with this kind of niche field, this ability to reach a targeted audience, what can our audience do to help? What can we do to help grow? What can we do to help you get to that 100 veteran a year threshold? How do we help?
That's a simple one. Yeah, it's funny because Amy and I had a call. We got like an emergency message from one of my classmates. he's at Phillips and he had to hire 375 people. And he's like, hey, you post all this stuff all over LinkedIn. Like, I need some veterans in my organization. And we got on a call with him and it was like, that we don't have 375 to give you right now, but we have a really good cohort. And he jumped on it. His talent acquisition people were there, but time, treasure, and talent is what we need. So if you don't have time, we'll take treasure and talent. If you don't have any one of the three, we'll take the other two. And I'm most impressed with, as Amy said, the turnout of folks that come to our evening cohort sessions, which are 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday night. And this week we had two. We had one on Tuesday and we had one last night. And obviously the veterans, what they're doing is really like a duck's legs underwater. Amy gave you the overview, but what they're doing is a full-time job, right? As you know, because you've transitioned out of the military. So we're giving them the tools, but then Amy and Brianne are meeting with them during the day when they have a packet of time that they can give to it to get them ready for the evening sessions. Because the evening sessions, 2 hours in the evening would never cover it for 7 weeks. So it's an all-day thing. So yeah, time, treasure, talent. We take donations. We take donations of time, and we take donations of money. That's how we operate. And what I said to Bit when he said, why can't I have more? I'm like, well, we need to grow. And we can't grow without donations. And all the donations go to, we have only 2 salaried staff. It just goes to our operating fees. We have a board of directors. It's a nonprofit board. We don't take salaries. We all donate, in fact. So that's the biggest thing.
And spreading the word too, to meet, that 100 veteran threshold. Like you guys mentioned, not many people know about us. We're pretty known within the medtech industry, but outside of it, not really. Because when veterans transition, they don't immediately think, oh, I want to go into medical technology. They don't even consider it because they often don't have a background in that field, so they don't think it'll be applicable. So really just spreading the word that you don't have to have a background in medical technology to make it in this industry. And there's a team behind you to support you, and we'd love to be a part of your journey.
So one of your focuses is on the 6-month time frame from separation. So the skill bridge window, essentially, right? Have you, as an organization, gone on events like the Vets Industry or the 50 Strong, where they have the different skill bridge ones, or have people come on and talk? Are you taking advantage of those to spread the word?
Yeah, so I've attended Vets to Industry. I try to attend as many as I possibly can. And I've met with the leader of 50 Strong. We haven't attended any events there yet, but I do plan on doing so. So we're definitely trying to utilize all the different networks out there and, spread the word. If I meet someone on the Vet to Industry event, I try to message them and let them know that about our organization, see if it might be something they're interested in. So, even outside of that, looking at other smaller nonprofits that maybe haven't had as huge of a recognition as ourselves and partnering with them as well to help create synergies and get the word out about both of our programs too.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's because, Amy, you said it, it's when we separate out of service, right? Sometimes it's a whole lot of you don't know what you don't know, right? I knew a couple of things. I love my law enforcement guys and gals, and I appreciate it, but that's not something I wanted to do, right? I didn't want to go contract overseas. I got kicked indoors for a long time, and that's not something my body was telling me that wasn't in the future for me, right? So, so I didn't know what was next. And when everything's an option or nothing's an option, right? You don't know what's next. So I think network. I think we need to get the word out. I think that we need to help people understand that there's a great industry out here, right? There's a great industry that loves our veterans because it's also a selfless service type of industry, right? So it's something that fits our culture well. So network, we got to get the word out. We got to get it out. We got to let everybody know. You guys
give them a bomb for that.
Now I'm gonna have to deal with the ego. I'm gonna have to deal with the ego now. Great.
Sorry, Tom. Sorry.
So I'm gonna pat myself on the back only because Eric has given me a couple opportunities throughout this episode to make jokes about the infantry, and I've bit my tongue. So I'm very proud of myself today.
and I'm going to let you slide for that.
So the one thing I think we have to add a footnote to this episode when we publish it and explain to people what Reader's Digest is, because I don't know how many of our audience know.
Pretty proud.
I swear you're not that old.
No, but I was proud of you for making that reference, because most people your age have no idea what Reader's Digest is.
I didn't think about that. I'm very young with an old person's soul, so
that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Yep. I remember stacks of them in the house as a kid. So
okay, I've got to ask: how do our listeners find you? How do we connect with you? How do we find you? Let's get that word out. I know it's scrolling on the bottom, but I want to hear it from you. How do we connect with you? How do we find you?
Definitely our website, scrolling on the bottom. LinkedIn, we're very present on that. Look myself up on LinkedIn as well. I'm happy to connect with anyone, talk with them, even if it's outside of medical technology, happy to provide any help I can. Connect with Patrice. Our board of directors are amazing and always here to help veterans. So there's numerous ways to get plugged in with us and involved. And all you have to do is search MedTechVets on literally any platform and we'll pop up.
Send me a message. I don't have much social media. LinkedIn is my outlet, and we respond. Amy and Brianne are very responsive. We will get to you. We will help you in any way we can. And like Amy said, you might come in here thinking you want MedTech and decide you want something else. We can help with that too.
I love that. I look forward to assisting you guys. I look forward to jumping in the ring alongside of you, helping you spread the good word of your organization. Man, I'm stoked. This is I've learned something. I can now go through the rest of my day knowing that I learned something today.
That's
Shawn,
it.
I'll make another joke about the infantry.
I love it. I love it. Thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to speak about MedTechVets. We don't often get asked to do that. And so a lot of what people find out is through word of mouth and through Amy and Brianne just being doggedly persistent on getting the word out.
I love what you guys have going on, and the fact that it provides a different outlet. People are going to be able to get their foot in the medtech door, something that maybe they've always wanted to try, maybe always wanted to look at, never had the opportunity. So this is a great window to get their foot in the door and start that. And that's just, to me, amazing. I really applaud you for what you guys are doing. This is just the number of windows that this opens, doors it opens. It's phenomenal. So we're down at the end. I want to give you each an opportunity. Is there something specific you want to leave the audience with? Something you want them to think about, or you want them to pursue, especially that pertains to their transition? We'll start with Patrice.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a transitioning vet, look our organization up. We'll either help you or point you in the right direction. And we don't give up until you have a job that you like and you've transitioned. And I also want to say, if I could, thank you to our alumni, because our alumni are a big part of our program. They graduate, they get into the industry, they're back being mentors for us. They're back speaking about their organizations, and they're helping their talent acquisition folks navigate a veteran's resume. Even when we do a great job helping them put a good resume out, sometimes it helps to have a veteran on the other end advocating for them. So Amy, go ahead.
I'll echo everything Patrice said and add, really just network. As a civilian trying to help transitioning veterans, a lot of what I hear is it's kind of a deer in the headlight syndrome. Like Eric mentioned, you don't know what you don't know. So spend some time doing research, networking with a network of veterans. Look up different organizations. Maybe ours is the right fit for you. Maybe it's not, but there's people there willing and ready to help you, and they want to. So use it.
I love that.
Yep.
Your network is your net worth, right?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
Eric, you got any parting shots?
No, listen, ladies, I am so thankful that you guys have been here and shared your time with us. Patrice, I know you're on vacation. I know you don't call it a vacation; it's still a vacation. But you still took time out of your morning to sit down and have a cup of coffee with us and talk to us about what you got going on. I'm proud of you guys. I'm happy now to call you allies. You got the VET S.O.S team on your side. And we look forward to helping you spread the good word. I think it's time to help them. Maybe we got to pass them on to another podcast. Let's get them on the podcast circuit. And get them. They need to be able to do this more often.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you guys for what you do for veterans as well. 100%.
Yeah. Thank you. No, this has been awesome. Just an amazing organization. I can't get over the avenue you're providing. It's something my wife has worked in the healthcare field for a while, and I know there's always a need there. So that this is really just phenomenal. And if you're looking to do a skill bridge, you're even if you're already out, you need to check out MedTechVets. This is something that could be the answer you're looking for. I highly encourage you to do it. Ladies, thank you for coming on, sharing your story, and thank you for what you do. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you all so much.
And we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Yep. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today to the VET S.O.S podcast. Remember, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline.